guys, Khaos coming at you with a whole new different video. Today's video we're going to be doing a review of the Star Wars movie that came out Thursday. I'm your host Khaos, and I can't wait to get you guys with the review. Now, as you do know, this is this is the review for Rise of Skywalker, and I can't wait to get it. And thank you guys so much for watching the week of Khaos. I know I had to tip off a couple of videos because I couldn't get a lot of the videos out. So this is my Sunday video. I couldn't do a Saturday or Friday video, so I apologize. Those videos couldn't come out, but I guess we should get into it. Alright, here's a review of the Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. Now, if you guys don't know, this is going to be a full spoiler, so if you guys don't want to know any spoilers, I'm going to let you guys know this is going to be a full spoiler. So this whole movie came out Thursday and Friday, so I post my review on Sunday. Now, if you guys didn't have enough time to watch the movie, stop watching this video immediately. Stop watching every video, go on social media, and just go to the movies, watch it, come back to this video, and watch The Rise of Skywalker. Now, okay, I'm going to give you guys a full minute. So there's going to be a thing on the screen that's going to say, spoiler alert. Alright, you guys had your time, right? Like, that was a full second. Now, if you guys didn't want to watch it, stop watching it immediately. I'm telling you right now, this video is going to come out Sunday. So that's usually when I post my full video. Alright? I do not do two pieces, alright? So this is going to be a full spoiler, right? Okay. Now let's get into the movie of The Rise of Skywalker. Now, to give you guys a brief heads up, The Rise of Skywalker is a pretty good movie, but it is still a little bit divisive among fans, just like Last Jedi. My feeling about it before we really get into the whole review of it, I like the movie. J.J. Abrams does get his ideas out there. It is a little bit like Last Jedi, so there's still a lot of questions at the end of the movie, and a little bit question decision making. But I like The Last Jedi. I really do think some fans are a little bit overreactive. They say it's either you're only in like two camps. You hate The Last Jedi, you love The Last Jedi, or you just like it. And that's how it feels like with the Rise of Skywalker. You either hate The Rise of Skywalker, you love The Rise of Skywalker, or you're in the middle about it. I actually am in the like about The Rise of Skywalker. It was pretty good. Now to get in the full review, we got to pretty much the first scene is the credits rolling. The first scene we see is Kylo Ren taking about a bunch of people. He's trying to look for the map that Palpatine left, it's a Darth map. It allows him to connect to the star charts that certain star charts just can't see. So it allows him to find certain things that are very powerful in the dark side. This whole nebula, that's mostly dark side power, and it's hard to even fly through. That's why that's why the map is so valuable. It allows you to fly through without getting hurt or destroying your ship. After installing into his ship, he lands in the nebula. There's a planet there, and Palpatine is alive. He's alive. And Palpatine pretty much tells him, you work for me now. I created Snoke. And we even see a cloned Snoke in there. And he says, I am the voice of all dark side users. And he might be, because he has died by Anakin's hands. So he might be really is the voice of the dark side. He tells him that you need a master now. You work for me, just like Snoke, and just like everyone who ever used the dark side works for me. Even though he's a little bit younger than some of the oldest Force users. He even has clone troops, and he's building a whole armada of Death Stars. Not actual they're Star Destroyers, but with a Death Star cannon in them. They all have the Death Star cannon, and they're using command posts to allow them to fly through the nebula storm. And it's not even just a couple of them. There's a whole armada, a bunch of ships, probably a little bit closer to 1 million ships, through all of it. And it's very dangerous. There's no way that the rebels couldn't even stop the First Order. Even if the First Order was a little drained, So the good news is Rey's training on the planet with Leia helping her. They do use a little bit. They use screen captured from her last scene in Star Wars: The Force Awakens and posted it in there. You know, they changed it up a little bit, so it's a very nice and not overly CGI like they did in Rogue One. So it's very cherished to her memory. They're very fragile how to use it. It's a very nice thing how to use it. So anyway, Rey's being trained by Leia. She's learning the ways of the Force. She even levitates while focusing on her Force powers. While Poe, Chewie, and Rey are on the ship on the Millennium Falcon. Apparently, they have a the First Order has a traitor, and they were training. They gave the information to the Millennium Falcon, and before they get thanks to R2-D2, they got the full information. They rocket out before the First Order about to kill them. But just like it was in Guardians of the Galaxy, they messed up their faces, but they didn't do it like that. But it did wreck the ship. So eventually they come back, and Poe and Rey have a little bit heated argument about her not being more part of it. Rey's still having a little bit of problems controlling her powers. Finn and her relationship doesn't really go anywhere. And that's like throughout the whole movie. He says, yeah. So Finn still they still haven't had their full relationship. The relationship with Finn and Rey doesn't really go anywhere. Like the relationship with Rose and Finn, that doesn't go anywhere either. But I guess J.J. Abrams definitely heard the fan anger about Rose, so she's not as in it as much as she was in The Last Jedi. She's barely in it. She has cameos. She doesn't really do as much, which was a little disappointing, because I actually like Rose. I mean, I didn't hate her. Just like I didn't hate the the bear people from the Return of the Jedi, or Jar Jar. I didn't hate those people, and I feel like people get on them way too hard. I like those people. I don't hate them. Jar Jar didn't bother me. That was my first Star Wars movie, watching Phantom Menace. That was my first Star Wars movie, and it blew my little mind. And I say that every time. I'll say it with a straight face. I like the Phantom Menace, and I like all the prequels, and even like the originals and the sequels. I like all of it, and I'm really mad that people, jump on it like, you can't like those movies. They suck. I was like, I mean, so is the original. They have their problems too. But I'm getting off topic. So yeah, Poe and Rey have a little argument. Rey realized that Rey started to have a little vision with Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren tells her that the Palpatine is alive somehow after the destruction of the Death Star. After Anakin threw him down the shaft, he survived. And cloned a whole army. Well, I'd say clone, but we don't really know. But there's he has a whole army and all armada of ships. And Rey realizes, thanks to the Jedi books that Luke had, he was looking for the map, the dark side map that allows him to find Palpatine. And that's pretty much the whole plot of the movie. At least for that part, half of the movie is to find the map and to fly. So they go to a planet, and the planet, they're having a little bit of their own desert, and they have their own little Mardi Gras, but it's more like a Burning Man type situation. Rey meets their people. They're actually kind of adorable looking. Little CG, also a little bit of prosthetics. That's pretty much what's the mix in the movie. They're looking for the ship that crash landed there, and it contains some sort of dark energy. Rey sensed it. They were also, before they even get to the ship, they were saved after the First Order was stalking them down by Lando Calrissian. Yeah! Lando's back! Go, other black guy in the galaxy! Woo! The only other black guy! He saved their lives. He told them, like, I can't really get involved, but I'll help you guys get to the place you need to go. They even have their own little space race, just like Return of the Jedi. on the moons of Endor. Now they're on the ship. They see this dagger that has the directions to get the map. Apparently, the guy crash landed before he could even get to them. Before he could return to Palpatine with the goal. He was an ex-Jedi who now works for Palpatine. That pretty much was his whole objection. He crash landed and died. So they find his ship. They realize that they find the dagger. The dagger is going to lead them to the map. The map to get the Palpatine. And the dagger contains Dark Force energy, but they can't read it in Dark Force language. But C-3PO, thank goodness he was with them, he read it and realized he knows he could read it. But I think either Anakin or Luke put protocols to make sure nobody can make sure that they can't override his able to read Dark Force language, because Dark Force language is a little bit evil, very evil. It's very evil, and the idea of it was very dark. It's either Anakin or Luke who programmed that in. I think it was more Luke because he was starting to explore more of the Jedi and the Sith. So Luke did try to look for it, but he couldn't find it. He was his body landed in a sinkhole, and a worm snake kind of monster ate him, less his bones, which was great. They eventually escape on the ship because the First Order surrounded the Millennium Falcon. So now Rey, before they could escape, they were trying to boot up the ship. Chewie was captured by the First Order and put on a captured ship. And Finn sees it. Rey and Kylo, Ben Solo having a fight, and she sees, and Finn tells her that's what Chewie's the ship he's on. That's Chewie's ship, and she uses her force ability to try to bring down the ship. And Ben's using his force ability to make the ship go. But the ship's about to be ripped apart by their two force abilities before Rey uses her force ability and uses the Force Lightning. Now this is a dark side type of energy weapon. The ship was destroyed. Rey got onto the ship, got on their ship, and they took off. Kylo Ren a little bit hurt, but not worse for wear. They escape, but Rey's feeling terrible because she killed Chewie, and she blames herself for it. But it really wasn't her fault. But they tell her it's not really her fault. The good news is Chewie alive! Yeah! Woo! You go, bear guy! You go! Oh my god, Chewie's alive. He didn't die. There was actually two ships. Whoever was in that ship, they're all dead. There's Soldiers of War. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So after they were saved, after they saved themselves, they have to get back all this because Chewie was the one who held the dagger, so they have to board the ship, get Chewie. Well, they don't know if Chewie's alive, but they have to get the dagger. But they go. The traitor is there, and people don't really like the dark side. Don't really like people who are traitor, but. So eventually they get captured again after trying to save Chewie alive when they realize Chewie's alive. They're going to get lined up to get like the original. How like in old movies they hold like all of you guys in line, and a bunch of people with guns shoot them in a line. I mean, they didn't even give them a cigarette. I pretty much like it's a whole line and they're about to get shot up, but they don't even get a cigarette. But thank goodness the traitor was there and saved their lives. It was that annoying guy from all the new sequels. I forgot his name. He's probably gonna pop up over here. And yeah, so he saves their lives and gave them back to the Falcon. But Rey and Kylo, their energy is somewhat intertwined. And he tells her like he knows more of the story about her parentage. That they weren't just nobodies, but they were somebodies to somebody. eventually she does stop him and they get away. But still, C-3PO still has the whole memory in it. But the reason they need the dagger, because something about it they need it for. She just knew, Rey just knew that they need the dagger for something. Eventually they get back on the Falcon and flies away. Now, but they still need to get the interpretation from C-3PO, but they can't get the information. Poe suggested say they go to another planet where they can get the information unlocked from his brain. Crack that thing like an egg. Poe meets an old ally of his, trying to kill him. He's pretty much like their Han Solo. That's what they're pretty much pushing in the role of doing. He also was a spice smuggler, so wow. There was like this whole thing, like you were ex First Order soldier. She was just a scavenger. You want to play this game all day. I do like their joke. They had their arguments were a little bit funnier. They're kind of like Marvel arguments. Eventually, you go and get this guy to help crack over C-3PO. And he has a sweet moment. It's like I'm just looking at my friends, and eventually they turn his brain off. And then they turn it back on to bypass his programming. And he speaks, like, that's the whole red eye thing that he was using, the dark side language. He did eventually tell them all of it, and eventually the First Order came in and were about to kill them, but thanks to Poe's friend, she distracted them long enough to get away. Now they have, like, everybody with them on their... They fly back to. Now they're gonna fly to the moons of Endor. There was multiple moons of Endor. They go there, and apparently there was. So Finn wasn't the only one to escape from the First Order or the Empire. The Empire, a bunch of ex-Empire soldiers that now work for the Rebellion. They were like. We didn't want this, so they decided not to. They were told to shoot a bunch of innocent people. They didn't do it, and pretty much all of them, threw down their weapons and refused to hurt innocent people. And they're all ex-soldiers, just like Finn, who refused to hurt innocent people. So that makes Finn's journey a little bit more of a circle of finding himself. They even have a little back and forth, like their names. And it was a sweet moment, really realizing that he wasn't alone, realizing that there are other people that know what it's like to be a soldier, a facial soldier and a cog in a machine. Now, Rey's using the dagger, since they are on the Endor moon. They use the dagger, and she uses it because the dagger has edges. And it fits with a piece of the bit of the Death Star. Yes, they are in one of the moons of Endor, and a bit of the Death Star moon landed there. And one piece of the Death Star looks familiar to her, and she senses it using the dagger, and she moves the dagger, and dagger fits perfectly, and that's where she has to go. But they're like, the waves there are too dangerous right now. We'll go with First Light, where it's a lot safer. She's like, we have to go now. She senses that it has to be done now. Eventually, she does take one of their skimmers and tries to fly, and goes over there to try to get on the Death Star. But their ship was fully damaged. That's why they couldn't fly over there and get there, thanks to a bunch of the jumps and being shot at. While Poe and Chewie are trying to repair the ship, Finn and one of the ex-soldiers, she helps Finn and her. They use the skimmer to try to follow Rey. Rey senses the dark side. She feels it. She feels the dark side. And she just going through it. Because the Death Star is full of dark side energy because it was made by, a Sith. And she goes to the Emperor's private chamber. And she does find it, but once she takes up, and apparently she didn't watch. I did like they have a little bit of an Indiana Jones reference because the map was just sitting there, and she was like, "All right," she just grabs it, and she was like, "Nobody, like you haven't seen Indiana Jones? One of their main actors was in that movie. You have to replace it with something of equal or amount of weight." And once she removes it, she is just blasted into a world where she accepted the dark side. Even have her double lightsaber and go, and they even have a fight go, and it's almost, and she turns to a bit of her. It's like, don't be afraid of it. Accept it. Accept who you really are. Eventually, she escapes, but Kylo Ren's there as well. Kylo Ren tells her, after having a bit of a fight, and almost hurting Finn, him have a private site where they're fighting, and he tries to tell her full story, because he actually knows her parentage thanks to Palpatine. He's wearing the mask and everything. The mask, they rebuilt. It looks bad. And eventually he does tell her the full story about her past. Her parents did sell her, but the reason they did that was because, remember I said earlier that guy was trying to return to Palpatine because he was an ex-Jedi and he was working for the dark side. So he was trying to capture Rey's parents, because Rey's parents, well, her father is the son of Darth Sidious. So he has a kid. His kid had married someone and didn't have a child, and they were captured, but he had to leave her there, and they eventually were told either give up the child or you will be destroyed, and they both refused, like true good parents would. And he tells her the whole story, and she's like, I don't believe you, and she's the granddaughter. So, just to tell you guys, a full on, she is the granddaughter of Darth Sidious, of Emperor Palpatine. She is connected to him. They are blood related. So now she's finding her. No wonder the dark side is really possessing her, is because her family and blood are really tied together. She accidentally stabs Kylo Ren. Well, not accidentally. She wanted to, but she stabs him and he dies. But at the same time, Leia realizes what's going on. Realizes there's a way to save her son. She uses her Force abilities, because she was already going to die. Because she R.I.P. to Princess Leia. She did die in real life. She used her Force powers to force the memories of her father to Kylo Ren. But later on, at that moment, after she did stab him, she uses her Force healing. Now, Force healing, it's not exact science. It's not something you should always use. Force healing is a little bit iffy, and it could hurt the person, especially the person who you're healing. She used her Force healing, and he is saved, thank goodness. And that's just the first step he has in the movie. She does say, I didn't want you to hurt. I didn't want you to really get hurt. I would never want to really kill you. She does eventually leave, using his ship. Shift Griff, like a good neighbor. Shift Def is there. She leaves and returns to the Jedi's home planet. She's pretty much angry at herself, angry at her, because now she knows the full story. Her parents tried to save her, and she knows that she's the granddaughter of Darth Sidious. She's burning the ship, and about to burn one of the Jedi's books. And she does mention she still has the map, and she's about to throw her lightsaber, which is Anakin's lightsaber, which was Luke's lightsaber. She's about to throw it in, but Luke steps in and catches it, and he's a Force ghost this time, and tells her it's not just about your family or blood, it's about what you do with it, what's it matters. So he tells her, you may be the dark side's, you may be the granddaughter of Darth Sidious, but you don't have to be that. You could be whoever you want to be. If you want to be in the light side, it's okay. If you want to be in the dark side, not okay. But it's wherever you want it to be. It's not their choice. It's yours choice, and it's your choice to what name you really want to fight by. It encourages her, and she realizes that she can save her. She has to stop Palpatine before he raises his armada. But But she did destroy the ship. He's like, how am I supposed to get there? He's like, well, I got you, bro. He raises up his X-wing from the water. Apparently, it still works, even without a droid. She hooks up the maps to the X-wing, and she flies all the way to Darth Sidious' lair, his planet, but basically his lair. She even leaves key map points for R2-D2 to pick up. But C-3PO mind completely wiped, so R2-D2 used a backup memory. He even says, like, didn't R2-D2 keep a backup memory? He's like, you can't trust that droid. He does keep a backup memory of him, and eventually he does help them. And the map he uses to jump all the way to all the jumps she was using to help the leak how to get to it even without the map. So now it's the whole army. I mean, there's not that many of them. Almost all of them are dead. Before Leia died, she made Poe the new commanding general. So, because he's got the best experience out of all of them fighting the Emperor. Fighting the Empire. Well, the First Order, which, basically the Empire. Could we just say that? Because it's basically the Empire. So Rey comes there to try to stop, to go and, end Palpatine. And Palpatine is prepared. He was like, well, my apprentice did a good job. I don't want him to kill you because he told her to kill Rey. I'm wanting you to come to me. He wanted her anger to be at the level of anger to want to kill him. So he's on this whole train operation because his body's pretty much useless, and his machine bends him down. And it's a whole, it's a chair just like the one he had on the Empire, on the Death Star. And there's a whole crowd waiting for there. I think it's all him, of all his clones of him. And cloning people who has Force abilities is a little bit iffy. It's not always worth it. He actually just sits down and accepts who he is, accept who she is, accept that she's a Sith. But she rejects his notion, and she battles him. But there's not a real battle, but she bows. Like, you are, he even brings him to the point where the blood of Anakin Skywalker destroyed him and to save his son because that was his son. He loved him, and they were blood related. But she rejects the idea that blood conquers all types of ties. So now they're all. So he's like, all right, if you don't want to do what I say, then I guess I'll have to destroy you. He uses his force lightning, and it hurts her bad. She's on the ground. But before she left, she did get a gift from Luke. It was Rey's lightsaber. They even have like a little bonus scene where Luke is teaching Leia how to use the Force. That's how she was able to save herself in The Last Jedi. Ironically, the lightsaber is Leia's lightsaber, so she was using it. She could use it too. So now she has Luke Skywalker, which is Anakin Skywalker, and Leia's lightsaber. Back on the planet of the Death Star, Kylo Ren is trying to fight his feeling, but Han projects it back into him. Yeah, we get to see Han again. Yay! Han and him have a big conversation. It's like, you could just they even have like the whole thing like they had in the movie. And it's a sweet moment. And it's like he says, like, I can't do this without you. It's like, I know, like, you have to let this go. He even it's like it's pretty much right out of the movie, and he throws his helmet, and he finally he even says, like, Kylo Ren's dead. You are alive. Ben Solo's alive. So he gets. So now he's back. He uses his TIE fighter to fly back to Palpatine's planet while Rey's on the ground. The Black Order are about to. Since he was trying to attack in, the Black Order are about to destroy him. Thanks to Rey and Ben's connection, they can even grab stuff or see things and where they are. She throws him Leia's lightsaber, and he defeats the Black Order. Even comes in right there. So now it's Ben Solo and Rey Palpatine fighting against Palpatine. And it's a sweet little moment, but you know it's not going to last that long. So they're fighting, and he's like, alright, if you guys won't strike me down, I'll just do what I usually do. And he force lightning them, but he realized something, that their force energy combined allows him to live. So he uses their force energy to revitalize his body. So now he's way more powerful. At the same time, you have the rebellion trying to stop Star Destroyers with Death Star level weapons in them. Now, one of the ways to stop it is destroy one of the postings, one of these antennas that allow them to fly through the nebula. So they have to destroy that. They do, but one of the generals already connected to. There's already a backup one on their main ship, so they have to go to that main Death Star and one of the main I keep saying Death Star. Star Destroyers to destroy it. They fly, so it's Rose, Finn, while Poe is leading the Armada. Now, Poe was already told this early on, like, before they even left, they had, they already had a talk about, like, he's not the, the Rebels aren't the only ones who hate the Empire. There's more of them than they really realize, and only by giving up do they realize that they can't win. Even had like the whole beautiful speech by a friend of Poe's. They're pretty much outclassed and outgunned. Because Lando and Chewie with the Millennium Falcon came with like a bazillion ships for all across the galaxy. It's like destroy all the rogues. It's like, there's not just their ships, sir. It's like, what? And he realizes that you can't just keeping people down. You can only push them down so far enough before they crack and strikes you back. And it's all of the ships from all over the galaxy coming at them all at once. It gives them a little bit of a they're almost winning, probably. But Palpatine uses his Force Lightning. He's so powerful, thanks to not just absorbing Rey and Kylo Ren's force power. He's so powerful he forced lightning and destroy a bunch of their ships and destroy a bunch of their allies. It's good for the dark side, not good for the light side. And I realized that, but Rey and Kylo Ren stand up to defeat him again. But before Rey stands up, Kylo Ren tries to attack him, and he gets hurt really bad. He throws him down. It's like, just like your grandfather did to me, I'm gonna do to you. Yeah, he was probably still angry. He was very angry about that. But Rey stands up, and thanks to all the Force people. So let me give you a little brief taste. It's the prequel guys, the sequel guys, telling her that she's now the voice of all the light side. Now she's not even just a Jedi. She's standing up for all Jedi. She's the voices of all the Jedi. They stayed up to defeat her, to defeat the Palpatine with all the voices of all the dark side. So you got pretty much Qui-Gon Jinn, Ben Solo, Anakin, Luke Skywalker, Leia, and pretty much everyone else. Qui-Gon Jinn, Yoda, it's everyone telling her all to stand up to defeat him. And the battle, I wish it was a little bit longer. It was cut down. I heard it was cut down. It was a little bit anticlimactic how she finally defeats him. She uses both Leia and Luke's lightsaber to finally defeat Palpatine. And they finally destroyed the ship, the main ship they used to try to get out of the nebula, and they finally got out of there, and all their ships exploded. So now the Empire is finally, their First Order is done for good. Rey flies back to Tatooine, where she hides the two lightsabers. Brief little thing. She did die using that much Force ability. She died using all the Force power. She did die. So Rey did die, so R.I.P. to Rey. But she did come back to life, thanks to Ben Solo using his Force powers to heal her. But she was so hurt so bad that he used a lot of his Force powers, and that killed him as well. But they had a sweet moment and they kissed. And I feel so bad for all those people who shipped Finn and Rey together, because Ben and her had their own little thing. So they kissed. Ben Solo died again, but for good this time. But he dissolved himself into the Force, the light side of the Force, and he died as a true Jedi. Rey returns to Tatooine to hide the two lightsabers of Leia and Luke's lightsaber once again for the next Jedi who needs it. And they even had a brief moment where she's at Luke's home on Tatooine, and Leia's like, "Nobody's been here for years. Who are you? My name is Rey." She's paused for a bit. Rey Skywalker. That's pretty much how they end the movie. I suggest you guys watch it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment below if you guys want to watch more movies. And sorry this review went so long. Bye!